All right. Good evening, Dre. Um, so let's try to share the space link so that we can have more people join and we can start officially by 7:05. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you for joining. We're starting in 1 minute, but before then, let us share the Twitter Space link with our network. Every founder or every startup owner should be here. So let's share. Let's keep sharing the link, and we'll start officially by 7:05. This space is recorded, so people can come back to it and re-listen. But it would be nice to have more people joining live so that they can also get to ask their questions. Thank you very much. All right, so it's 7:05 p.m. already. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever time zone you're currently in. Thank you so much for joining our Twitter space today. I have quite an interesting subject conversation, right? And we have a very seasoned professional that would also be doing justice to the conversation today. But first, I should introduce myself. My name is Lois, and I am the CEO for Spawnation Group. For those who are not very familiar with what we do at Spawnation Group, if this is your first live session that you're joining in, Spawnation Group is a group of solution units that solves all your startup problems from one place. And we're pretty much excited to host conversations like this where we discuss very important subjects as it concerns startups. And yeah, so this is, I think, our second live session this month, and we still have quite a number to go for June. But we're so excited to have you here. We're so pretty excited. Today we're discussing marketing ideas for startups, and I mean, every startup's goal is to make more monies and make more monies, right? So, marketing is a very important part of our startup operations that we cannot get tired of talking about marketing, and because I mean most of our business goals boils down to the results from marketing, right? So it's always important that we keep having conversations, refresher conversations, to help us build on and become successful, right? So today's conversation is really practical. So you want to get your notes, you want to get whatever it is that you want to jot with, you want to have them by the side because our guest um, is going to give actionable tips, like tips that you can start implementing right away, right? So you don't want to miss out on any of the points that are going to be discussed today. So, without wasting much of our time, I would like to bring our guest on. And I'll allow him to introduce himself because I don't know, people like to say that I like to blow people's horns. So I'm going to allow him introduce himself and would get the question and answer session started. Hi, Drake. Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. If you're on the live session and can hear me, please drop an emoji so that I know that it is probably Dre's network or something. Okay. Yes, you can hear me. So please introduce yourself and let's get started. Okay. I think I clicked on something that made it difficult for you to unmute yourself, but now you can unmute and get started with the introduction.
Okay, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. 100.
Okay, fantastic. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adibisi Damilare. Uh, I'm performing marketing specialist at Spawn Nations. And like my Oga has introduced earlier, what we do at Spawn Nation, the Spawn Nation is your one to go to solve all your startups problems, either being marketing, either HR, name it. We are one to go for you for any of your startup problems. Just book a demo call with us today and it will not remain the same. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I actually wanted him to introduce himself. When I say Dre is one of the brightest people that we have on the team, it's really no brainer, and you get to understand why I keep emphasizing that when he starts explaining some of the things that we have to discuss, right? So let's get straight into the questions. So we have a list of questions that will be directing our conversations this evening. But if you have questions, you can use the chat box or wait till the end of the session so that you can um, get like a speaker slot to ask your questions, right? So let's start from the very, very basic part. We know marketing as it is. Um, at least to an average person, when you say, "Oh, I'm running marketing for this product or for this service," they have an idea of what you're saying, right? But why is performance marketing? So performance marketing is literally like taking marketing like one step further, making it more data driven. So why is performance marketing particularly important for startups? Let's get the conversation from there.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Why it is very, very important for performing marketing, particularly important in startups. Uh, it is very important because it provides like a measurable way to acquire customers and scale efficiently. So, and it provides that measurable way, like to measure like your content, your marketing that you've put out. It helps you like to keep adequate measures on it, and it helps to measure and report performances on all digital marketing campaigns. Uh, for example, you've run a campaign on maybe on your social media platform, be it X, be it Instagram, be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook. You have to keep track of those campaign that you've sent out. That's where performing marketing enters. As a performing marketing specialist, all you have to do, you have to focus on the reports that you have. Okay, how is this campaign doing? Okay, so what are the comments, what are the engagements, okay, what are the, like, what are our customers, what are these things? You have to keep tracks. It is very, very important, and it helps to utilize the strong analytical ability to evaluate end-to-end customers experiences, which is very, very important, like I said earlier, because it helps you to keep tracks of what your customers are saying, what your customers are experiencing about your product, which is very, very important. And it helps us to, like, identify trends and insights to be able to optimize and perform based on your insights. Definitely, as a performance marketing specialist, you have to keep tracks on all your social media page where you're running your campaign. For example, maybe you run uh, on, okay, for example, on Next, maybe something is trending. For example, okay, I'll make an example about during World Cup. No, during AFCON, uh, we have one of our goalkeepers that was, very, very, saving us, keeping and all. So, as a startup, be like, they said, Iwan Bali was, keeping all the goals, even the PK, is doing his best, he's trying. So as a startup, be like, okay, it's trending on X. Can we jump on it? Definitely. And we see, like, some startups that, like, they are actually, like, jump on the trend, and it's like the engagement was so dumbfolded. So it is very, very important to have a performing marketing specialist in your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that AFCON example, right? Because we've seen situations where startups just roll out campaigns or roll out designs every other day on the social media platform or whatever marketing platform, which could be digital or traditional, right? You see them roll out content every other day, and you can't categorically place your hands on the result or the performance of all of this content, right? You see, I mean, at the end of the month, if you're outsourcing your social media management or your marketing to a different agency, right? You see that at the end of the month, when the agency sends them reports, they barely want to look at it. They really don't care. It's just about, did we go viral or did we not go viral, right? And marketing goes beyond just viability part of it, right? Every of our marketing effort has specific key performance indexes, and we need to start paying close attention to those things to ensure that the limited resources that we even have as startups, and we are not burning it unnecessarily. So imagine you have to hire a graphic designer, a copywriter, a content creator, say a videographer, and a graphic designer, right? I think I've mentioned graphic designer before. You have all of these guys on your team, and let's say their take home at the end of every month is about, say, 500,000 naira, just for an example, right? That 500,000 naira is actual investment in your startup's marketing or your startup's visibility, as you want to call it, right? And if you cannot say for a fact that with this cost that is being spent every single month, this is the results that we're getting in it, right? So it does not stop at just putting money and saying we're doing marketing. The performance part is the most important part of marketing. So that way you're able to know what exactly is working. Like Dre said, what exactly is not working? What are customers saying? How do our customers want to be spoken to? How do they want to be related with? All of these things are very important things that we need to pay attention to. So while we're talking about performance marketing and how important it is for startups, I think Dre should also talk about key marketing challenges that startups typically face. So we can't say that it's always a smooth ride for startups you know, from there on. Even for those with the biggest budgets in the world, they still get to have, challenges left, right, and center, right? So what are some key, I know we cannot exhaust the list, right? But what are some key performance or key marketing challenges that startups typically face?
Okay. Definitely, uh, we have some key challenges. So number one, limited budget. So as you said earlier, like every every sector, every department in a startups have their own budget, especially our marketing. They'll be like, okay, we are running like this campaign, this and that on like either traditional or digital marketing. Definitely, you have a limited budget to work with. So and for example, you are given like a budget of 100,000 naira, and you know like you have to want to work with like an influencer for that particular campaign, and you are limited, and you are limited. Okay, for okay the influencers like that you want to work with, let's say like let's say they are micro influencers, and like maybe you have like 10 that you want to work with, and each said, okay, this is our own like this is our own this amount like they would like they collect and all. So you have a limited budget that you have to work with, so it definitely affect. These are like one of the key challenges. One, and number two, like we have fair competitors. There's we are not the only one doing this, so we have a lot of competitors. So you have to do what every day you have to be on the run. Like, okay, what are my competitors doing? You have to, okay, what are they not? What are they not doing? What they are not doing that you want to captivate on. So every day as a marketer, you have to keep thinking, okay, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this. So these are one of the challenges too. And as as it's a challenge, it's also like it also motivates the marketing team to be like to be on their feet. Okay, we have to do this, we have to like our product must be fit. If our product is not fit, there's no like our customer cannot like have that trust or loyalty in us. And another thing is like define your target market. At first, as the startups were like when they are starting, they are trying to appeal to everyone because they want to get as many customers as you want. So trying to appeal to everyone is like a disaster. To me, better still you have to focus on your specific target market, and you have to craft your message, and which is very, very important according to it. So after you've already like define your target market, you know your target audience, fine. Okay, for target audience, who are your target audience? Are they between the age of 25, 30, between the age of 20, 25 to 35, or between the age of 45 to 60, thereabout? Are they business owners? Are they entrepreneurs? Are they tech sales, service? So you have to define your target market, which is very, very important. Uh, another problem that we talked about is like creating a unique selling proposition, which is very, very difficult to create, but you have to find time to do it because that will give you an edge over your competitors. When you create your own unique selling proposition, it will give you an edge over your competitors because you know what do your what do you offer that your competitor don't. Okay, in our product, okay, for example, let me as a startup, like you are in the food niche. Okay, what you do in your own startup, just like you create like a timetable for people that work maybe in offices and no, and they don't have time like to get lunch, or they just send an errand people like to get lunch for them. Okay, you now say, okay, for us like we create a timetable for you, and we send it out to pick your like you pick your lunch food every week, and you have another competitor like that does exactly the same to the video. You in the marketing team have to think, okay, what is my competitor not doing well that I want to captivate on, that will give me an edge over them. So uh that one is part of it. Another one that I would like to talk about is generating leads. If there's no leads, there cannot be sales. So it is very, very important. It is part of the challenges again in generating leads. Uh, those leads that you've generated, you convert them to your customers, which is converting leads to your customers is another challenge that marketing, that performing marketing specialists face because you've already generated leads. How did you get your leads? It might be actually through email marketing that generate all those leads. All those leads that you've generated, how do you want to convert them to actual customers? And another thing is like growing your customer base. Every day you have to think about the growth that you bring to your startup. As a performing marketing specialist, every day you have to think, okay, these are challenges, okay, this is what our customers are saying, okay, as a marketer, okay, we've not been able to read this, we've not been able to do that. So growing our customer base also is a key challenges. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dre. My favorite part is that you mentioned is the strategy part, and that's like a very underrated part of marketing that a lot of people do not pay attention to. A lot of startups do not pay attention to. It's not just about having a budget; it's about planning effectively and ensuring that that budget actually works, right? So that what's the word now? Planning the end to end of each campaign, planning end to end of every activity that would be carried out during the course of the marketing period or the marketing phase or whatnot. It's lots of work and a lot of startups try to shy away from it. They also mentioned unique value proposition. You would be surprised that actual businesses or actual startups still do not know that unique value that they are bringing to the market. While it may look like regular products or look like regular service, I mean, everybody is selling food, or everybody has a restaurant, or everybody has a fintech, what's it called now, right? And it looks like everybody's doing it, but every business has to have, no matter how saturated the industry is, it has to have its own unique value proposition. That's the way you're able to show that you're actually different from the rest of the market, right? And it's one challenge because, like you said, it takes lots of work. Not just work, it takes lots of research and refining your products and your services to look, bring something else that your competitors are not bringing to the market, right? So yeah, those key challenges are very, 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 very obvious when it comes to marketing and when it comes to startup, right? So let's talk about strategies now that we've touched on strategies, right? Um, let's get very practical now. What would you say are the top three marketing strategies that startups should focus on when they are just getting started? So, for startups that are just getting started, it means that they are literally testing the market, they are trying to understand what works, they're trying to find their bearing in a large sea of water of different startups. They have probably have limited budget because not every startup gets backed right from day one, right? So they are just trying to get on board and get people to look at it because they're fairly new in the market or they are really new in the market, right? So what would you say are the top three marketing strategies that startups like this who are just getting started should focus on when they are launching?
Okay, all right. The first one for me will be content marketing. As a startup that's just starting, you already know like your particular industry, you already know your particular niche, what you are focusing on. Either maybe you are focusing like small, uh, uh, maybe it's agri-tech, maybe you are focusing on like small medium farmers, or you are a fintech services, or like food services, anyone. But you already know what you are like, just starting, you already know your need. Then you have to create valuable content that's related to your industry, that will attract your audience to you. And it might be like a video content. For example, for let's say like agri-tech now, like okay, we're just starting, so we want to help like small scale farmers. Okay, definitely you already know like your audience mostly they're not on social medias for small scale farmers. Definitely where are they? They are in rural areas, they are in villages. So like you already understand your target, those are your target audience. So where do you take your content to? Majorly like traditional media. Go to TV stations, okay, talk about okay what the value like you possess, talk about the benefits that you are bringing to them as a startup. So you create like Either okay, yeah, you create maybe a jingle on radio stations, went on radio to do like advertisement, talk to them about what you are bringing to them. And you might create video content that might be hired on TV stations that are related to your industry. So well, you already know your industries. So you have to create like valuable content related to your industry so as to be able to attract and engage your target audience. Another one, okay, creating video content, blog posts, podcast, infographics. I want to like elaborate more on the podcast. Recently, during my research, there is a startup like they focus majorly like on mini importations, and you just started like either 8 months or a year ago. And I noticed like they started a podcast too, whereby like telling their experiences, telling what's happening in their industries. So it's a form of marketing too. The second one I'll be going about is social media marketing, which is a thing like every startup should leverage on. Be it Instagram, be it X, be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook marketing. So as to be able to connect with your audience, you share updates about your startups, about what you are doing, about your products, give daily updates about your product. Okay, we just launched, okay, on your, let's say like for example, okay, this startup just launched, so they make an Instagram post, they make an X post, okay, telling their audience about, okay, their products, their services, what they are doing. So which is very very important as a startup that's just launching uh into business. Another third one that I would pick is search engine optimizations. I've talked about content marketing, talked about social media marketing. The third one I will pick for me is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization has to be able to like establish a very strong online presence that immediately like someone just like go on Google, like try to search for, okay, sport nations, you'll be like, okay, immediately you already have that online presence on Google, just search sport nation and it brings out like what Sport Nation does. So these three marketing strategy is very very important as a startup that's understanding the content, social media, leveraging on social media, and search engine optimization. Thank you very much.
So my favorite part, I mean, always is content marketing because it's very affordable, relatively affordable. You can go as high as you want or as low as getting it started for free. So I personally follow um, indie, what do they call them now? Indie founders, and you just see how beautiful content marketing is, and how how storytelling when infused with content marketing just works. So you see a solopreneur who does not have a team, who is just probably has created the software as a service, like a SaaS product or something, and he has built it from start to finish, and he pushed it out on platforms that are free, platforms like Product Hunt and stuff, right? Create content. I mean, not too graphical content. Unlike what we have in this part of the world, where you launch a new business, the first thing you're doing is to build a website, or to, let's say, a website for tech product, okay, but to open social media platforms and let the product has its own identity. But these guys really don't do that. They use their personal pages, just tell stories about the idea, tell stories about what they're building, and they just work with platforms that are very, very seamless for them, right? Like Twitter, for instance, text content works really fine, so they don't have to really think about designs, videos. I mean, even if they're making videos, it's just their phone and just set it up like that and just make really crude videos, and you see how those contents perform. You see, not just seeing them go viral, but you see the revenue turnover at the end of each month, and you look at their MRR, and feel like these people are literally not investing in marketing, really, like investing money. They just have time invested. So content marketing is really very, very effective for startups or founders who are really serious about moving their company to the next front, right? And infusing storytelling just makes it really perfect, right? You don't have to. I mean, you're just telling your story in the most original way. It's not. It has to be perfect. I mean, if you're working with influencers, you're working with content creators. They have to make the content in a certain way. The video has to look sharp. This has to be this and that. But when it comes to storytelling, just show up as crude as you can. And of course, like you said, social media and search engine optimization. People don't really pay attention to search engine optimization. And you find it really funny because social media is currently becoming like the Google or the directory for most businesses. So you're looking for a makeup artist for ladies. You're looking for a makeup artist. The first thing is you either want to Google it, makeup artist in Lagos, makeup artist in Ibadan. You want to Google it, or you're going to Instagram, type in makeup artist in Ibadan, and it just pops up, right? You come to Twitter, you're looking for makeup artist in this place, it just pops up. Even when you Google it, you see social media accounts of certain brands pop up at the first page. So it tells you that these things actually work, and these things will help you reach customers that you are not directly making efforts to get them, right? What I mean by that is that, so let's say that your Instagram page is properly optimized, SEO standard, that when they search for makeup artist in Ibadan, you would pop up, right? Aside that investment in time and energy to write makeup artist in Ibadan, to optimize your page, to be able to show when they are looking for makeup artists in Ibadan, it does not require any further effort. You just see it work over and over and over and over again. So these three major things that he had mentioned are like things that you should really, really look into. And in fact, the order with which you mentioned it is what you should work with. Content marketing first, social media marketing next, and then the SEO part. So let's talk about again startups with limited budgets. They don't, I mean, not too many, not too many resources as such. Right. So let's talk about some cost-effective marketing ideas or tactics that can still deliver significant results, no matter how, cheap in quotes, right? Or how zero budget you want to go on them, or what are strategies that would actually work.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I didn't get that question. Can you please repeat?
Okay, so I was saying we know that startups
Uh,
usually have limited budgets, right? So, what are some cost effective marketing ideas or tactics that can still deliver results regardless of their limited budget?
okay. As a start, as maybe for example, the marketing team are given a limited budget to work with. The marketing strategies that work with that I think will work most, uh, as I said earlier, is content marketing. Uh, making okay for me, if the content you're putting out is appealing and to your target audience, definitely it helps to promote your startups more. Okay, in what sense? You made mention earlier about like uh, what indie techs, what they are doing, even like maybe it's a sole owner, like so I'll make use of like maybe AI to leverage on other parts. So putting out a video content, like the content they are putting out, the video content they are putting. Okay, for example, the marketing team of a brand of a startup A, they are given a budget to work with. Like the budget for the month is 50,000. Okay, one, you can't count on uh, maybe to run some ads. We can run some ads like on some digital platform, either maybe Facebook, Instagram, you have Google Ads that could run on and still be very, very effective. Optimizing like ad spends. You could run on like paid advertisement too. Uh, either, as I said, Google Ads, Facebook ads, or LinkedIn ads. Second, I've talked about like content, putting out video content as the marketing team. Okay, let's put out the video content today. Like it might be a different approach. You might actually be using a particular approach before, but be like, okay, as a team, let's think wide. Okay, what another approach that we use that will be so appealing to our audience? Number one. So the second one I'll talk about, as mentioned earlier, I just want to expatiate more on it, like paid advertisements. You could run ads on either Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and or LinkedIn Ads. That will definitely be so much effective. Uh, the third one that we would like to talk about is uh, search engine optimization. I've made mention of it earlier, but I still want to like leverage on it. Where you chip in the idea when your social media page is optimized. There's no how, okay, for example, you're just in a new location and you're looking for a startup uh, that deal with like food services. You just like pick your phone up, go on your Google, type of like startup that render food services in Ibadan. If you already optimize your page, you definitely to come up. So these three things, content, video content especially, paid advertisements, running ads on either Facebook, Google Ads, or LinkedIn Ads. And the third one, search engine optimization. And another one I will actually talked about to work on is like influencing. Actually, like working with influencers, sometimes influencing marketing, it it takes a lot. It takes a lot because the influencers you want to work with, uh, they might actually be very big and you have a limited budget. So as a marketing team and we want to work with some influencers, definitely instead of like working with like a particular influencers, we just do like micro influencers. And who are micro influencers? There are set of influencers on social media that influence a particular product. They might not have that particular followers, but at least they have like a minimum percentage of followers that okay, you could just get like 15 micro influencers that can work on a particular campaign for you. So instead of going for like okay, a very big influencers, you might actually go for like some micro influencers based on your limited budget. If the budget is not limited, it should be advised to go for that particular influencers or thoughtful leaders in your niche for that wider coverage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing really amazing ideas that startups can use to, with limited budget, can use to market themselves, their products, or their services, right? And one other part, so I'll be speaking from the founder's perspective. One other part is turning your team members into your brand advocates. So this part goes without saying. A lot of people try to shy away from that conversation because, I mean, I'm paid to do a particular job. Let me just get paid and leave. But the truth is that the more monies that come into you, of course, that's if your founder is not all that. But the more monies that a team have, the more resources they have to be able to grow the company, right? And it reflects directly or indirectly on the members of the team, right? So I always have a very when you're starting out and you don't really have so much, but you have a team of small a small team of 5, 6, 10, 20 people that you're working with. I always advise that you start with making them your brand advocates. And this is literally them talking about your brand and talking about what it is that they do, and how their own work or their own part of their job affects um, the overall results that their clients get to have. So let me give an example. So let's say I am a full stack developer, right? And I work with a fintech company. As a full stack developer, I want to talk about how hectic or how interesting working on the entire system that everybody, thousands or hundreds of people are using, right? So the way I talk about it, I'm literally talking about my work, but I'm also talking about it in line with the fintech brand that I work with, right? So that way, you may be able to boycott the whole outsourcing, influencing, to third parties, right? If you're able to get your team members to talk about what you're doing. So let me use an example for what we're doing as Sport Nation Group, right? So for the rest of this month, we have conversations every other weekend where we bring on guests, right? We've been doing this whole series since the year began, where we bring up guests and they talk about different things as it concerns startups, right? But we did a little bit of switch where all our guests are now professionals on our team, or most of our guests for the month are now professionals from our team, right? So that way, everybody keeps talking about the beautiful thing that we're building. Everybody keeps talking about it, and that way, more people keep seeing, oh, this brand, oh, this person works here, oh, these people are up to this. Outside of the official marketing platforms or the official page that you have, right? So it seemed more natural, it seemed more effective. People are, really curious about, okay, so this person works here. What exactly is it that you do? Fine, they may have seen your content on your official pages, but they may not get it because it has this professional tone and texture to it. But seeing the copywriter talk about it, see the front end developer talk about it, see the head of operations talk about it, see everybody talking about it, it just becomes more beautiful, and that way you're able to gain traction. I mean, the originality in those stories or the originality in those contents is what actually gets people's attention. Why they may look like regular brand awareness, right? It's already starting a a potential customer's journey. So I would always say keep talking about your brand, keep talking about your business. There should not be a time. I like to say that for founders, right? The percentage of your content, you should have like 60-70% of the content that you roll out about your business. Then you can use the 30% for several other things, right? But that 70% has to be you talking about your product, talking about your team, talking about this. I remember a time that we had a marketing client for a product, right? And one of the reasons why that marketing campaign did not really convert well was because of the fact that the owner of the product has zero media representation, like nothing at all. Nothing at so imagine you're trying to sell that this person created this product and we want to sell it out, and people are going to check, they're not seeing anything, and they make it look like a fault of the marketing agency at the end of the day, where there are very intricate parts that should have been sorted out before you even pump money into what's it called. So if the team members or the people building the product don't exactly speak about it, there's a limit to what content marketing, there's a limit to what influencing marketing would do, right? You may get lucky and it works, but most oftentimes than not, you just find it fizzle out at the end of the day. That's why you look at certain brands and you can't really place your hand on it. Let me use Full Gap for an example, right? Full Gap's official page does not really post so much about what they are doing. Maybe highlights of new features, highlights of new things that they're up to. But outside of there, you see the founders talk about it, you see team members talk about it. In fact, it became top of mind at some point, right? So let everybody on your team, you may say that I'm not a marketing person, I'm not in the sales department, I'm just a this, but every single member of your team have a part to play in marketing as it concerns your products and services, especially if you're working really, really, really limited budgets, right? Every single person, I like to jokingly tell my team members that all of you are influencers, oh, like when we have campaigns, there's a place that we are putting Sport Nation Group's team members. They are slated as influencers because if there's a way that insiders write or tell the story that an outside person would not be able to capture, right? So that originality, that part, just telling the story in the most original way, it has to come from your team, right? I say it with all sense of sincerity that if you really enjoy what you're doing within a particular organization, it would not be as difficult to talk about it, right? Even for you as a business professional, it gives you a sense of, oh, this person works here, this person worked here, this person was a part of this movement, this person was this, right? So all of that put together should help you get started on your marketing. So we've already buttressed the point that performance marketing is literally data driven and result oriented, right? So when we come to KPIs, that's key performance indexes, what KPIs should startups measure when it comes to their marketing efforts? What figures should they be taking note of when it comes to marketing their products or services?
Okay, before I answer that question, I just want to like, talk more like on what you just said about your team member, like, marketing your product. Uh, as you said, if you really love what you are doing, you have to market your products. As like even as part of the team, either you're in sales, either in HR, either any department that you might be in the organization, you have to like market what you guys are doing. Uh, Majorly, I've seen like a very big brand that even after what they've done, like if they are putting another product out, the way they market it will be like, what like you guys have done before, like we saw everything, how fantastic it was, how amazing it was, and it was like mind blowing. And you see, like the next product that you had, putting more effort on it and all, and every part of the team are doing their best, putting out on their page, talking about the product, talking about how effective the product is. There's no how. There's no how. Okay, Mr. E talks about like, let's say like you have like 5 members in your team, in your marketing team. The 5 members on their page, it talks about okay, the services that you are rendering, okay, how beneficial the product is. Mr. A talks about it, Mr. B talks about it, Mr. C, everybody on the team talks about it on their page. If 10 people, okay, consistently, you are talking about that particular product, you are talking about that your services on your page. If 10 people like saw that post, they'll be like, okay, you've been talking about it, okay, they enter your DM, okay, what's up? Okay, I saw you this, okay, what you are doing like one-to-one marketing. Okay, you are telling this particular person, okay, this and this. Second day, maybe you post the second day. Another person like, I've been seeing, okay, I've been seeing this post on your page. Oh, okay, what you guys does? Can it gives, even apart from marketing, like it gives that trust, that loyalty, which is very very important to your brand. Thank you very much. So, on the key performance indices, every startup should be able to track their KPI every in a month. In every month, they have their own KPI that they set. So how do you keep track of it? Their conversion rate. When you run a campaign, you'll be like, okay, does it convert? The ads you run, does it convert? Just like you are just doing it for fun. No, it has. There must be a conversion rate for it. Okay, this okay when you're running okay, maybe a brand is just startup is just starting. Okay, what are their campaign objectives? Okay, the campaign objective for the month, okay, it's just like we want like brand awareness. So at the end of the month, were you able to get the awareness, the visibility, the awareness that you want for your brand? So every campaign that every campaign run in a month, there must be like an objective for it. It's just like, okay, this month let's just do it. No, there must be a particular objective. Okay, we want visibility for this our new product that we are launching. Okay, how do we do it? Okay, you list out, okay, your list out the campaign objectives. Sorry, you list out the campaign objectives. Okay, you already know your target audience, your campaign message. It has to be what you guys are doing, what you do at your startups. You have to be expertise and dedication to what you guys are doing. You have to soak in the range of services you guys are rendering. You have to communicate the value proposition of what you guys are doing at your startups. For a startup that's just starting, okay, for that month, that's our own like campaign objectives. So, which is very, very important. Another one might be like website traffic. You want to gain like a traffic for your website. So you have to keep track for your engagement metrics. Okay, for the engagement metrics on social media, for example, you put out on Twitter or on X, you put out a tweet and you are talking about like your services and be like, there's no engagement. That means the campaign for that month is zero. So you have to keep track as a performing marketing specialist. That's what we do. You have to keep track of what we are doing. So the engagement, we were like this month, how many engagements, those engagements, like those in the comment section, or what are people saying? Okay, okay, they are saying this, they are saying that. Okay, they're already like they're already like potential. How do you want now to convert those people talking in your comment section? How you want to convert them to possible to how do you, okay, they already leads, how do you want to convert them to your customers? So those are what we do, keeping track of conversion rates, website traffic, engagement metrics. So all this together, we're able to measure the success of the marketing efforts in the month. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for explaining. I hope that more startups can now see that it's not just to post, it's about getting a particular result that you have marked that particular content you give, right? So we're running out of time, but I want us to go over partnerships and collaborations, right? Um I'm a strong believer of working together with people, collaborating with people, right? But when it comes to marketing, right, is partnership and collaboration, can it be a strategy to achieve our marketing goals? And if it is, how can startups leverage on it to get their marketing results properly, get their marketing results at the end of the day?
Okay. Yes. In startups, collaboration is welcome and partnership is very, very welcome. You can partner with complementary business or influencers to reach new audiences. Uh, when okay, collaborating with an influencers. Okay, I want to make an example of I think 2020 or 2021 thereabout. Uh, Kuda Bank, Kuda, they did a partnership like with two individuals, one Star Girl Rika. So like I want to bring out a point from it. One, Kuda like is very known. We all know Kuda. Like that time they were starting and all. They even like did a sponsor like on Big Brother. And that particular year on Big Brother, like Erica was like, some like a star of the show. So they be like, okay, she has that audience, she has that followers. Okay, why can't we collaborate with her? They did collaboration with her, and it was dumbfounded. Like it was welcome, and people loved it. Even like people, our audience, our own like followers, they'll be like, okay, since this person is bringing this out, definitely we, our audience, will definitely do it. That's the essence of like collaborating with an influencer. Their own audience, maybe they are not using their services before. Seems like the person they trust, they had that trust in that particular person, is posting about this particular product. That means it's a win for them, so they had to do it. So they had like that influence on their audience, which is very welcoming. Uh Partnership, startups can do joint events. Okay, for example, okay, maybe you have like just a networking event where like startup A and startup B are collaborating together for this particular event. Okay, I want to bring out techies to this, learn on how to solve like problems like in your startups, what are the challenges you are facing in your startups, how it can be solved and all. So startup A and startup B can collaborate together to achieve that. So collaborating together with the startup is a very welcoming idea. And they could do like co-create content. We've seen a lot of content creators now like collaborating with each other to put out their content, and startup collaborating with each other to put out their content, which is very, very welcoming idea. One, and as I said earlier, they might do like joint event or promotions, and they leverage on each other's networks. Startup A has their own network, startup B has their own network. Let's say startup A, what they are doing is different from like what startup B is doing. Startup B is doing this, they already have their own audience. Startup A is doing this. Okay, part of their own customers that are not using startup A, definitely they will do it, they will use it. And startup A, their own customers are not using startup B, they're doing a joint collaboration, definitely they will do it. So collaborating with each other is a very, very welcoming idea that all startups should leverage on, which is very, very important. Thank you very much.
So there's this quote, I can't remember who said it, but it says that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. So find startups that aligns with you or startups that you can collaborate with and partner with to get some of these things done. And this will come from a place of understanding the things that you're lacking on, and you find other agencies that can, be a supporting partner and ensure that what you're offering is also commensurate to what you're getting in return, right? So as we plan to wrap up, before I ask in my final two questions, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box. We will not be able to bring you up because we're way behind time, but just put them in the chat box, and I would take them, and we would get it going. So, my second to the last question to you would be that, not discrediting the fact that some startups have had marketing campaigns, invested heavily in campaigns and marketing, as a whole, and they failed or they did not get any result at all, right? So how can startups recover from a failed marketing
All right. This like in this particular life, even as as an individual, we all feel like everybody has like their own story to tell. Like, okay, in this particular place, like definitely I failed. But if you failed and you still like thinking, okay, I failed, I'll now, I'll just like that's all. No. As when okay, first of all, when recovering from a failed campaign, you have to analyze what went wrong. To solve the problem, you have to identify the problem first. What went wrong in this campaign? Okay, we put out this, like we failed, we were unable to reach our KPI. So we have to first of all analyze what went wrong with our campaign, which is the number one step we have to take when we have a failed campaign. Analyze it. Okay, this is actually what affected our campaign. Okay, we've already analyzed it. Second thing will be like learning from our mistakes. The mistake we made that made us fail, we have to learn from it so that we not repeat them. After analyzing, then you learn from those mistakes so that when you are doing When you want to run another campaign, you will not do the same mistake again. And it might be the strategy that you use in your campaign. Uh, each startup know like how effective uh, their their channel, the one that works for them most. They know the effectiveness of the different channels they use. For example, like they may be run their campaign on X, okay, on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Definitely, the form might not be like buzzing, but it might actually be like the campaign is going well on X. So uh, they measure the like effectiveness of different campaigns, and they notice like okay, on X it was good, but on Facebook nothing, on Instagram nothing, on LinkedIn nothing. If the approach or the strategies that was used for X, maybe this another thing that was okay. We know like majorly on X, what you had to do like to putting out your content, like on X, like verified, you had to put out like a very long videos. If you are not verified, maybe just like 2 minutes, 20 seconds videos, just to highlight like what you are doing, and majorly like you do a trade. That's a different approach or different strategies in making use of Instagram. In Instagram, like you can put out your videos, like you cannot put out that a very long trend that you put out on X. No. So you have to like adapt your strategy. The strategy that you use might not be like, okay, this strategy that we use like is not working for us. Let's brainstorm on a new strategy. So the first thing is analyzing what went wrong with the campaign. Second, you learn from your mistakes. Third one is adapt a new strategy and focus on continuous improvement. So you have to focus. Your focus has to be on it, on continuous improvement. How you want to improve like every month or every week that or every day that you're putting out the content, you have to focus on okay, how we can improve on this particular content. It's not like okay, the same strategy that we used yesterday is the same like the one we are using today. Like you have to pivot. You don't have to be afraid. You have to be very solemn that okay, let's try a very new approach. Let's try these new strategies that will work for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope that startups that are saying that marketing doesn't work can hear these parts and get back right into the game. Okay, so my last question would be that what's your final advice for startups looking to improve their marketing efforts?
Okay. Uh, my final advice for startups is to stay to what they are doing. Stay agile. Focus on delivering value to your audience. Uh, and leverage on data. Don't say, no, there's no data for this. There's particular data for everything. Everything that we want to do, there's data for it. So you have to leverage on data, delivering value to your audience, stay agile, and you have to stay alert and be informed about your decisions. And don't be afraid to experiment and learn from both success and failures. Like I said earlier, like individuals individuals, like even as an individual, we fail. But what do we have to do? Don't have to like keep wallowing in our mistakes and okay, I failed. No, you have to learn from both your success uh and failure. And actually, like I want to talk. I want to like make an illustration about a particular thing. That if okay, for example, abeg, okay, it's a startup like that we know like it's for receiving payment, like you could send money, this and that. So they actually made a sponsorship for Big Brother that year, and after that it went off. So and it was acquired by like Piggy Tech, which is the parent parent company of PiggyVest. Uh, what I would like to say is like if until you have a great product market fit, spending millions on advertising will not help you. And what did I mean by a product market fit? It's about your customers are what are they doing? They are buying, they are using, and telling others about the company product in large numbers. One, as Ms. Lord has said earlier, members of your team, not even your team, every members of that corporate organization are talking about it, that particular product. Your customers are talking about that particular product, the services that you render. That give you that that trust, that loyalty, and that if your product is not fit, is not market fit, you spending dollars, spending millions on advertising. Okay, let's say you said, okay, this particular product, this is what it does, and your this particular product, this is what it does, and your advertising message is saying another thing. Definitely, there will be it cannot work. It will not work when your product is saying, okay, we does this, okay, we know your product, this is what it's known for, and your messaging, your campaign messaging is saying another thing. That eventually means your product is not fit, and if it's not fit, that's a bye bye. Between like a year or two, even not up to a year, fold off, that's the end. So we must make sure that we have a very product market fit before we like spend money on campaigns, spend money on advertising, spending a lot of millions on that. You have to make sure like okay, this product is very, very, very fit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I had so much, so much to learn from this session. Um, Thank you so much for sharing from your wealth of knowledge with every single person and that joined live and those that will get to listen to the recorded version. Because I know certain people would not have the time to listen while it's live, but they'll wait till they can listen to the recorded version and you can carefully unpack every single thing that has been discussed. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'd also like to use this opportunity to speak to startups. Marketing is great, and it's okay if you do not have the capacity to run your own marketing yourself. And that is why Sport Ocean Group exists. That is why we have a solution unit that is fully dedicated to helping you with your startup marketing, right? So if it's too much to unpack, you could always reach out to Castle Perfect or reach out to Sport Group, and we can have conversations around how we can work with you to ensure that you're able to get sales at the end of the day. Not just about marketing, several other things that you need help with, as long as it relates with growing your startup and ensuring that you stay in business. We're always available to have that conversation with you. Thank you so much. If you listened from the beginning through to the end, thank you so much for being a part of this amazing conversation. We have pretty interesting ones coming in coming days. Our next live session on Sport Group's channel is on talent acquisition and retention for startups. You do not want to miss that conversation. Units under our group are also having live sessions. Stratify is having a closed question and answer with managers, team leads, founders, where you can ask all your questions around business structuring, brand strategy, business management, and all of that, right? So we have pretty interesting conversations and events coming up and would like for you to be a part of it. If you're not following our official page, please do also follow. Um, and we'll follow you right back and we'll keep the conversation going. So this is where we'll draw the curtain officially. Thank you so much for being a part of this 1 hour, 11 minute conversation. and we hope to see you at our subsequent live event. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.